All right, we are live. Welcome, family, to another show. We got a very interesting topic today, somewhat stemming off the show I did yesterday, last night, rather the Sunday rundown. Our passport bros messing up the international dating market with our Western standards when it comes to women. So this is a very important topic. I'm going to bring on my guy Wojo on after this ad. We've been in a few countries together, and we're just going to give you our observations as far as how Western men interact with foreign women, and is it damaging, as far as society in composites of not composites, but in concerns of international dating, basically is what I'm trying to say. All right. So let me play this ad, and we're gonna be right back.
As you can see, I'm repping that BMT. No matter where I go, no matter where I be.
Some of them seats in, some of them front kicks in, and I'm still cooling, I'm still cool, I ain't busting sweat. That's what it is. Yoga, passport bros.
Passport rolls up.
University in the building. Shout out to my boy BMT, man. Yeah, go cop some new merch.
All right, we are back. We are live. I got my man Wojo in the building, man.
What's good? What's good?
What's good with
fellas?
you,
How
man?
y'all doing, man?
How you living, brother? How you living?
Living good, man. Unfortunately, I'm back in the States,
Mm-hmm.
You got to play that visa game over there, and you got to keep up with it. So, definitely have a plan, definitely have ways to come back and forth, so you can definitely figure out what you want to do. So, I've been traveling for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
different countries all over the world, and I
Okay.
love it. I love the States for the opportunity and the money. I can definitely tell you that, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely try to take that money and move it over there and have fun and just enjoy myself and not work myself to death at the same time.
Okay. Okay. And what countries you been to thus far?
Man, let's start from I've been to Spain, Barcelona,
Mm-hmm.
Japan,
Mm-hmm.
Tokyo, Philippines, all through there, Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
Mexico, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, where else? Canada. Damn. I don't know. It's been quite a few places.
You,
Turkey. I was
you,
just in
you,
Turkey
you
a
forgot
minute
where you
ago.
met me at,
Yeah,
Brazil.
yeah. Brazil. Yeah, I forgot about Brazil. So,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's been a fun adventure traveling around, seeing different people, interacting with different cultures, and just
Mhm.
developing friendships along the way too. So,
Okay. So what's your favorite country so far? What country? If somebody say, "Hey, Joe, you gotta get the hell up out of the states," what country would you choose to live in?
man, I mean,
You
and
know,
they all
mm-hmm.
and they all have their pros and cons. So,
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely put Thailand and Brazil almost top one, like in the top one kind of places. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
I would lean more to Thailand based on safety, and they got cannabis over there and everything. Um, Brazil, everybody looks like me and they speak Portuguese, so you feel a little bit more closer to your roots a little bit. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't talk about a lot of the African culture I've seen out there. I was pretty
Yeah.
shocked. So
Gotta
that
throw my
was
shades on too, player.
hey man,
Yeah.
I know folks gonna be clowning on me saying like I look like Tone Loc, man, but it's all good.
No, it's all good, player. It's all good, man. So
But
you would choose Thailand, pretty much. Or just Southeast
well,
Asia.
let's just
Asia's
say,
your
listen,
thing.
yeah. I would say Southeast Asia as a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Until you experience real safety, like
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I know we was having a quick discussion when we was talking about being in the nightclubs and stuff, and there was that one point I was sitting in the nightclub. It was packed. It was like I think it was Rolling Loud. It was packed in the club, and I had to sit back for a second, and I realized like, yo, this spot ain't never been shot up, and to have that mindset, you know, that's crazy. You know, we somewhere where ain't nobody even on that type of, you know, hype. So yeah, that safety would definitely make you look at the world a little bit different. It's kind of weird, but yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I never experienced a safe country or a safe environment, safe city until I got to Thailand. You know, so a lot of us, especially brothers that grew up in the inner cities and everything, like me and yourself, we have what, PTSD or something, right? You know, like
post-traumatic stress, man.
Right, and we don't even realize it until we go somewhere else, and you kind of like pause, Damon on Friday 3, pause on that. But you know how that little scene where he was standing, he had the telephone books wrapped around, he was standing like he's still in prison. It's like the same thing when you get to Thailand, you just sitting here like, what's going on? You know, even in Colombia, I remember one time, I think it was me, Big Boss, Richie Mack. It might have been you. You might be on the bot bus too, but we took a bot bus from the Golden Tiger Bar. I think it was Maju Bar at the time. Took a bot bus, and we got blocked in. Right, we took a little alleyway to Walking Street, and we got blocked in. It was somebody behind us and somebody in front of us, and my head just goes off like you know what I'm saying? Because in America,
we thought it was going
that's
down.
a robbery. In Colombia, that's a robbery, right? It's just like, oh shit, it's about to go down. They about to rob the whole bus. I have to remember, I'm like, oh nah, this Thailand, we good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they got a lot of alleyways. I mean, only way you can really get messed up is by them soy dogs. You take the wrong alleyway, them dogs will probably get you more than anybody else.
Do not pet the soy dogs.
Yeah, don't touch them dogs, man.
One of the homies went up and tried to pet, and the dog bit him. I'm like, bro, why'd you try to pet him? He's like, I don't know, man. But soy dogs, like, they block the whole street. And if you're walking, because you walk a lot in Thailand, you just be like, damn, I don't know what to do. You know, you got to get a little moto to go through it. Just some of these comments real quick, and we're going to get back to the show. I got J Spec Wonder. All right, he says, what up, Aaron? To answer your question, it's not all Passport Bros. As a whole, it's mostly the simps among us and some of the inexperienced guys think that's messing things up. Peace. We got my man Amon Perry in the building. We got Yazuka Like a Dragon Series Generation Official. That's a hell of a name, bro. He said, save yourself, black man. Get those passports. You can find beautiful women around the world outside the country today. All right. And we're going to speak on that. All right. All right. Shout out to Simply L Funky in the building. How many Passport Bro in the world and how many people in the world? All right. I guess you're trying to say the ratio that we can't really mess things up. All right. We got my man Philippe Lindsay in the building. It says BMP travels. That's it. Exactly what it is. PTSD. They have discovered this with a lot of pro athletes and why they get addicted to chemicals. It's because of the PTSD from their childhoods. I can 100% agree to that, man, because I grew up in the 80s in the crack epidemic. And, you know, when people say things like, oh, it ain't safe, you know, Medellin ain't safe, I'm like, bro, if you didn't grow up in the 80s and early 90s and see them crackheads running by and everything like that, I mean, it was like a bizarro at night, you know, like it was just a whole other world. So, yeah, if you're a child, you're going to get affected by that in your adult years because just like you super paranoid. You know, I remember my dad used to make me walk to the store in one of the most dangerous areas of Atlanta by myself. You go get him a pack of Newports, and I'll just be like, damn. He's like, go to the store, boy. I just be like, damn, all right. Like,
yeah.
Let me get ready because like when you go to the store, even though it's like a quarter mile, it's like you're walking through Vietnam, which is a good thing because it prepared me for unsafe environments in life, right? But they don't care. In the 80s and 90s, it was wild, but they didn't care if you was 12, 13, 14. You getting approached by pro prostitutes, crackheads, drug dealers, kids your age that want to beat you up. I mean, it's like a whole different environment. Was that how it was in the Bay a little bit growing up?
I mean, back in the 80s and stuff, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll definitely tell you that we wasn't getting dropped off at school. We was definitely taking a 5-mile walk to school. So, you know, through that 5-mile walk, you know, You got pit bulls, and like you said, crackheads, drug
Big
addicts.
boy, crackhead.
You got people on the street that doing their thing. Those
Mhm.
situations can happen at any time. A shootout can happen at any time. So
Anytime.
that's what I talk about, them street smarts. So, when you are in these different countries, those street smarts got to kick in the same way. You got to have that
Mhm.
survival instinct. Doing it as a little kid, surviving this whole time is, it's amazing. J. Cole, what
Mhm.
do you say in the song? He was happy he made it to like 30 something. I mean,
Mhm.
this is for real.
I mean, I think it was bad. It's bad now. Don't get me wrong, in the states and the
Yeah,
inner cities, but in our generation, it was a thing just to make it to 21, right? A 23. That's how
absolutely.
many. I think they said more young black men died in L.A. than in Vietnam or some crazy stuff like that. Over time, over like that 20-year time period, you had more black males die in L.A. Right, and
Yeah,
that was
shit.
going on in each every city. It might not have been gangs, but that was going on in each and every city, right? Uh, so what we talk about today is, guys, we talk about safety and everything, and we're gonna move on to today in a second. Take those street smarts that you develop, and still apply them overseas. You know.
Yeah, that's the same way with business too, man. You gotta have the street
Hmm.
smarts. You gotta protect yourself at all times, So
So I got a question here about Fudd Man says, what have cats been doing to ruin things though I don't frequent these spaces? It's a few things. It's a few things. If you want to refer to Sasua, and I got a lot of my people from New York, you know what I'm saying? But I would say the New York culture definitely affected because you had a lot of New York Dominicans coming back down and a lot of dudes from New York coming back down. They definitely affected the small tourist area of Sasua. But we're talking about something a little different now. We're talking about black men in particular, and white guys too, but we just focus on black men for this show. They go overseas, and it seems that they have this requirement for the women in the states, right? Or you're not dating this, not dating that. This back and forth we got, but they go overseas. They tend to, not all cases, but in a lot of cases, we are known to take the throwaways and rejects. Is that correct in saying that? Politically correct, Phil?
uh I, politically correct, I would say, we lower our standards.
Mm.
If we're going to talk about the women back home, and we're gonna say she got she got a whole bunch of kids, two different baby daddies, high
Mm-hmm.
expectations with a level of delusion, then yeah, man, we lowering our standards for, not the best, and
Mm-hmm.
I would hear, comments, and other people make these comments and videos that, not even the man in the country want those women. Why do you guys? And sometimes you got to sit back and ask yourself, how do you keep the standards up high with these women if you're accepting them when they ain't giving you nothing? It's just you're just picking up
Mm-hmm.
whatever's there, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's a big question on all of that.
What's another thing that brothers are known for,
Well,
especially in Southeast Asia?
and once again, disclaimer: I'm not even gonna say it's all brothers because the
Mm-hmm.
mass majority of us is very small compared to all of the Japanese dudes I've seen, the Koreans, the
Mm-hmm.
Australian guys, the guys from Europe and Belgium and Germany and Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, they outnumber us by the millions, and they're
Mm-hmm.
doing the things that we're talking about right now. So I don't believe that, I believe that us as black men, yeah, we can make a different, higher standard, but I don't believe us alone can change all of that. But it's good to get the
Mm-hmm.
conversation out and have brothers be aware of what they're doing and try not to follow suit as these other dudes.
Mm-hmm. So
So
would you say, like I said, we're not saying all, but
yeah,
would you say you've seen brothers with what you would consider to be low hanging fruit in some of these countries?
I would definitely say that. I mean, I would definitely say, it wouldn't be the same. Like, okay, let me put it in this perspective. If you're out having your fun and you have this low for hanging fruit, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's all fine and dandy. But when you start doing levels of commitment and start doing boyfriend, girlfriend things with it, then, I think that's a problem, bro. Like, have your fun, do whatever you do. But once you start giving that level of delusion, it's the same thing here back at home. There's baby
Mm-hmm.
mamas and other people that, other females, I'm gonna say that, they make their bed and they don't choose to lay in it, but they want you to accept it. So why go 10,000 miles and do the same thing? It's crazy, you know. So, but you know, like I said, everybody's situation works different. So I can't say this is all brothers and everybody got a different story and you know a different way of doing their things. What works for you works for you. But when it starts creating a problem for brothers like me and other brothers who don't got kids and who's single and want to go out there and you know try to you know experience something right, everything is all fabricated and boosted up and put on a pedestal, and it's like, damn. I
I
don't know
want
how
to
to
talk
work
to
with it.
my man International Joe in the building. He says passport bros aren't hurting the dating market overseas because most of them aren't dating, they just smashing. All right. My man said, Daryl says we are used to getting the short end. When we get the tenth of what others get, we appreciate it more. All right,
Yeah.
good point. Good point. Now, you know, I remember, I'm not gonna call out the particular club, right? But it's a black club in Southeast Asia. Let's just put it that way. I'll put it that way. And you go in there, right? And it's how do I say this? Big size, voluptuous Asian women.
Okay.
Right?
I think that's right. That's right.
Right, real life, looking correct here, you know, it's YouTube. But you know, overly sized, bigger Asian women, and the club is full of them. For what reason? Why they choose to go to that club, Joe?
Um,
I'll put you in the spot.
there's a. I would definitely say there's a lot of brothers that in there that you know would prefer a curvier Asian woman. You know,
Right.
and I don't think that's you know I don't think that's no knock against any brothers. I think that's you
So
know
they
we
go to
use
this particular club because they know brothers is there, basically.
yeah, and you know they know the brothers is used to women that have you know some meat on their bones. You know, we all you know love those women that have something. I mean, shout out to the flatbacks. I'm not mad at them, but you know sometimes you need a little bit extra meat. So you know it's just it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Boy, been understand doing it. Somebody say who are the men that's late lowering their standards? Would you say we are known internationally for that, or is it just maybe certain cities in the world that guys looking for
I
that to
wouldn't.
wipe that?
And once again, you know, I just wouldn't want to label us like that. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it is here back home in the States, it is accepted to that degree, man, where, you know, we're in fear of talking about body positivity. But when we mean body positivity, we want to talk about healthy body positivity, not, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just overweight, just like, you know, super BBW type stuff, you know. And then once again, you know, by all means, if you know, if you into that, that's all you. I'm not saying that's a problem, but going overseas and then taking all of that extra energy to do all of that, man, you might as well go for the best, or at least something that's healthy wise in that sense, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think that in some cases, not all cases, but I think guys be so geek about dating a foreign woman, you know, a woman of another ethnicity. You know, you want to be that guy with the internet, you know, interracial relationship and all that good stuff. That from what I've seen, some of them are willing to accept anything as long as it's not black women. I have seen
Yeah.
that, you know.
Just like the other brother put in the comment, I mean, some of us brothers definitely go out there looking for love, and then you have another set that just go out there looking to smash and stuff. And then you have another set that was smashing, and then they turn it into love. That's where
Mm-hmm.
another problem is, you know, addressed. You know, I believe that you know the love that we experience in the U.S. and then we try to replicate that back in another states, it can be manipulated. And I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
brothers get manipulated by that, man. Um,
Mm-hmm.
some of the women, I mean, after being around the world dealing with a lot of different women, and you know, just seeing that they want you to provide, plain and simple. And
Mm-hmm.
if they gonna get it, it can be through manipulation, it can be through the long game, it can be through any type of way to get you to conform to what she needs. And you always got to
Mm-hmm.
ask yourself what you need first. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
always want brothers to always think about that as they, you know, they in they fun and they enjoying themselves. Just always ask yourself, what are you getting out of this situation? So
Mm-hmm. I got another comment from my man International Zoe said that's not true. We are used to women with color and women with shapely bodies, and those women are the least desirable in most countries, so they feel appreciated by the brothers.
Yeah,
All right. There's some truth to that.
yeah, definitely.
All right. I'm gonna drop a link for you, Zoe. Zoe said he wants to pull up. Somebody said I like thick, but I don't do fat or healthy. I do fit tall, and the biggest factor, can I carry you? If I can't carry you, then you are too heavy.
I like that. I like that standard. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's it's interesting, man, because I don't think you're really criticizing the guys for dating who they want to date.
Mm-mm.
Beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder. I think it's more so that if you require American women to have all these qualifications, no kids, and no sketchy past, be underweight, under 25, all this other stuff, then you drop all that when you go overseas for whatever reason, right? And I think that's where the criticism comes in at. Like you see it all the time. You're like, damn, that's who you chose. Like, like wow, bro.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
damn.
Oh, let me drop a link real quick, my man's. We got 122 in the room, guys. Do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button when you come in the room. Yeah, man, we in here. We are in here now. Out of all the countries you've been to, bro, what country you would say, in your own personal opinion, have the most qualified women per se? Like in your opinion, like when I say like wifey material, basically. Like what's the best dating market?
The best dating market.
For wifey
Man.
material, yes.
And like I said, that's hard because everybody got their own flavor. Everybody got their own way they want to move. I think I'm leaning more towards, I would say more of the Latin culture. I would say that's, close enough. That's pretty much close to, that's close to black folks, I would say, more than anything. A lot of Afro Latinos, they'll try to deny it, but we all look the same. When we go to Dominican Republic, look just like some of the brothers out there. So
My man
it's
Daryl,
crazy.
my man Daryl said Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
I'm saying that, I'm pronouncing that wrong too, by the way. It's Kazakhstan, something like that.
Yeah, and then I would say the Philippines too. I know a lot of
Mm.
beautiful people over there, and some of the ladies over there would definitely
Mhm.
treat you right too. So
Somebody say, Don Grego says, we need to counsel thick and be honest. I want to give a shout out to my man D-Man in the building, Basketball Hoop Squad, $1.99 super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Joe and BMT, much love. I think we
what's good?
both
What's
missed
good?
D-Man. We needed one of you, D-Man.
Nah, he came out. He came out, but I think he was hurt. I'm not sure. I think he was hurt one time.
Okay.
I hurt myself a few times, so I definitely rolled my ankle a couple of times.
Yeah, man. We had some good hoop games, bro. We had some good hoop games, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Joe came back and started doing this, putting the shack on us. All right. I think a lot of black men just need to grow a backbone. For too often we conform to women when it should be the opposite. If you have a lead and pay the majority of bills, have some standards. So, Chad, understand what we're saying. 100% agree. 100% agree. Let me get this dude. We got a couple of trolls in here. Let me get this dude out the chat real quick. And Zoe, if you're there, man, go ahead and pull on up. I'll drop a link one more time for you, fam. All right.
Yeah, but like I said,
So did you said basically Latin America?
Yeah. I would say Latin America would definitely be it. But been watching Colombia, man. It's glad you out there, man. You doing safe. But yeah.
All right, hold on. I want to bring on the black cleaner to the show. What's going on, bro? Black cleaner, you there? Okay, come back in, man. You there? I don't think he hears me. He'll come back in. All right, this is the good point. We've got to mention this. I'm glad you brought this up, Felipe. I'm sorry. He says BMT travel. Speaking of Joe's former NBA star, Joe Smith needs to hit that hottest jet smoking to Brazil or to Thailand. Thing about people like Joe is, man, Joe will wind up having the same type of female.
And there you go. You already answered it right there. It's like, yo, you picked her up at a strip club. Like that was the same way you was gonna lose her, man. You already know what she was about. And we can't sit there and think that we just gonna change them because that's what they're trying to do to us. They're trying to change us. You know, as soon as they get you, they got the hopes like, oh, maybe I can change him to do this, maybe I can do that. And you know, some of the brothers, you know, they go into that same mode. They thinking that they can change the girl, and it's like, oh, this is who she is. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
Joe Smith's a perfect example.
Yeah, people were saying it was a skit. I don't think it was a skit at all. I just think it was just because I seen an interview where he just walked out of. I'm like, bro,
Yeah, she
you
said
should have.
something real disrespectful. He just got up and walked out. Rightfully so. You know, you don't need to sit there and argue with that.
Yeah, but I just don't understand what dudes have, money. And he might not have NBA money anymore, but I'm pretty sure he has money. He's settled enough to survive well, in my opinion. His wife might not can't go on shopping sprees, and I think that's the big difference. I think she wants to live that luxury, shopping sprees every weekend, vacations. That's her
Yeah,
version of money. When he's like, "Hey, I got an NBA pension, I got money saved. We're gonna live this type of regular lifestyle because I'm not playing in the NBA any longer." And at that point, when he saw that he couldn't afford her lifestyle anymore, he should have just took a loss, took an L, and just divorced her. I don't even know why he's still with her. I
yeah, man.
mean, he broke a lot of rules, and you can't tell a man what to accept and what not to accept, but I would give some advice for my younger guys out there, and that would be to not wife a woman that you can pull up on X videos. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just too much because usually it ends up bad. And she was basically she had a real sketchy past, man. Like she had an extremely sketchy past. And it just came forward basically. That's all it was.
Yeah, and once again, not everybody can pull it off. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
see Adam 22 and other different folks and all that stuff, and they're
Mm-hmm.
using that to make money. You know, not everybody
Mm-hmm.
can be there. Not everybody knows the dynamics of what's really going on in the relationship. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the folks that's trying to mimic that whole situation, you're gonna find yourself in the world of hurt, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, so just know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, then we can't say nothing. Nobody can say nothing.
Right. I want to give a shout out to Kirby Films. The files people chat, man. I really appreciate that. He says, "What up, BMT? Ed Travers made great points last night. I think it went over some people's head. Ed Travers always dropping game, man. That brother always dropping game. He be going in a little heavy, but he be dropping game. All right. Ash L the files people chat. If a black man is dating a fat BW, then he'll date fat women of other cultures. There will be no big change because of what he likes. Let's stop the BS. I mean, you might have some truth to that. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Ash L. Somebody said, "Why would you marry ex porn star?" Hey man, people have different standards, bro. All right, so BMT travels. A lot of these pro athletes hit the pros and professionally company people. Remember Zion, LaMelo Ball, even Don Cornelius. Remember what happened to Don? I don't know what happened. You know what happened to Don Cornelius?
Nah,
Yeah.
but I know Zion and the rest of them, man. They all doing stuff, behind closed doors in the dark. And you see what happens.
All right. I think that's Racket Club. I think that's how you pronounced it. So I hate to say it, but a lot of dudes that I see while overseas don't take care of themselves, but want to wipe up a baddie, shaking my head. All right. So much I agree. I think a lot of men gravitate to the same kind of women they would normally get in the States. You would be surprised. You would be surprised. All right, I got Charles McGruder in the building. What up, Charles?
Hey, how are you, BMT? How are you doing?
Man, we're doing well, man. We are doing well. What do you think about this topic?
Uh, I think that sometimes people are a creature of habit.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes when guys from the state travel overseas, um, is a shock factor that they have to deal with, and I
Mm-hmm.
think and a little bit of intimidation. They may not admit it, but I think it is too. So they kind of tend to gravitate towards the uh, the girl they typically wouldn't walk up to in the states. Um,
That's some truth to
Good
that.
point.
yeah, and so I think once they get to a different location, and mm, they tend to pick the same ones that they probably would pick in the states. I
Mm-hmm.
think it has to do with confidence, because a lot of times when you come from a place where you downed a lot, and are are considered looked over, you devalue yourself. So I think that has some issues. It's a mental thing. So I think
Mm-hmm.
you devalue yourself, and your self worth isn't where it's supposed to be until you be in the country long term. You kind of get that experience, and when you get that experience and get comfortable with talking with women, then you might go for something that you tip like a baddie or something like that.
Good point. Let me get some super chat, and I'm working my man International Zone in the building. Shout out to my man Daryl with the $5 super chat. He says the day market is too global to be ruined by passport bros. I met a
Mm.
baddie Kazakh stand who a brother flew out to DR because she couldn't get her U.S. visa. Appreciate the super chat, Daryl. We did an interview with Daryl actually last Monday. I usually do my interviews on Mondays, and he gave us some game on Kazakh stand. I want to welcome my man International Zoe to the building. What up, International Zoe?
BMT, what's good? What's good, family? Everybody good?
What's good, man?
Yeah, we're
Absolutely.
What's
doing
good?
good.
We here with the man. What's good,
I'm
bro?
here. I'm here with you, eh? I'm in Medellin right now.
Oh man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
You look real dangerous, right?
I mean, I was gonna say, hey, you sitting outside, hey, that's kind of like a rule number one, but hey,
Stay out the
you
mess,
know,
man. Stay out the sketchy areas and the sketchy style. You be good, man. There's a lot of life
mm-hmm,
going on out here, regular life going on out here, man. A lot of that, you know.
mm-hmm,
And
I
mm-hmm.
know you
I,
know,
I,
eh?
Yeah. I mean, I love it here. I love Medellin.
I didn't have no issues in Colombia when I was there. I had none. I was in Cali, and I stayed out till midnight with a
Mm-hmm.
group of friends. I had no issues in Cali, and I think that the U.S. is more dangerous than a lot of the countries that we travel to. To
Or
be
just
honest,
as dangerous.
yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as you keep your head on straight, and you ain't doing stuff that's out of the norm, um,
Mm-hmm.
you should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to ask you, man, because you've been to all these countries, and as far as the dating, like the relationships, like when guys getting with
Right.
these women, are they getting top tier women that the local men would get, or do you feel like you see more guys dating women with a sketchy past overseas?
Well, for the most part, when we go places, we don't know the language. We don't know the
Mm,
culture. It's highly
mm-hmm,
unlikely that we are going to come across an upstanding woman from that country just on GP staying in the tourist areas. So our likelihood of
mm-hmm,
meeting someone like that is unlikely. You got to do time to understand the culture. You got to meet some people and have some friends. But then the other thing that
Mhm.
I think that we're not considering is that if you're a man that is twice the age of the woman that you're seeing or dating, I mean, what fine on her way up, upwardly mobile woman in any country is going to really like date a man like twice her age? I mean, it's a give and take. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
You probably can't do that in the States. So it's a give and take. You might get a girl with a little bit of sketchy past if you want a young, beautiful girl and you 40, 50 years old. It's a strong possibility, you know. So of course we're not their first choice. Everybody's first choice is the people from their country. Now you become a choice if you have something to offer, like everybody else. Yeah, they might date a man twice their age if he can take care of them. At the end of the day, no matter where you go, most women want to be taken care of. Let's be clear. And if you young and fine, oh, if this one don't take care of me, that one gonna take care of me. It's the real deal, you know. And you know, I don't knock brothers for doing what they're doing. I understand it thoroughly, what's going on, and whether it's P for P or whether it's you trying to find something serious. It's a give and take, man. Especially if you're not and I'm not even talking about high value. Yo, if you're not a handsome, charismatic, well dressed, well groomed man, all those things come into factor if you want a top tier woman. You know, so that's my teacher told me when I remember she was like maybe like a 5th or 6th grade teacher. Maybe it was a little older, but she said, and she was talking to the guys in the room. She said, all you guys want a pretty, fit, beautiful girl, but make sure y'all bringing that same thing to the table too. You know, she said that. I never forgot that. So if you're not bringing handsome, fit, you better bring something else. You better bring money. You better bring support. You better treat them well. You know, so I don't know why we all here acting like we reinventing the wheel, like we're doing something so right and everybody else is doing it wrong. We just all just people. We all just people trying to be happy. And one person's happiness might not be another person's happiness. You know what I mean? Let them live as long as they're happy. You know, we represent ourselves first and foremost. And then, yes, we also represent one another when we out there. But I just think it needs to be way more support, way more teaching, way more of us not talking about each other negatively. I'm so tired of people calling each other a Pookie and a Ray Ray and a this and a that. Nobody here is better than anybody. Ain't nobody here that much smarter than nobody. Ain't nobody here that much good looking than anybody. Ain't nobody here got that much more money than anybody. So I see a lot of panels and I see a lot of people talking and everybody's just coming off like they're doing it right and other people are doing it wrong. And I just feel like, listen, it's an even playing field here. Let's be honest. You know, some people travel to have fun. Some people are expats. Some people are exploring being expats. And everybody wants some attention, wants some affection wherever they go. So however they getting it, if they're happy, let them be. And I really don't think we talk about it because this is our community, but really we just a speck in the bigger picture. Nobody even cares. The amount of brothers that are in any country is so minute that we are not making a dent. I mean, forget a dent. We're not even making a speck. So we only, you know, they say we only like popular to ourselves. 99% of people don't even know who we are or that we're there. You know what I'm saying? So we just need to fall back, have fun, support each other, share information, and stop pointing fingers at each other. You know what I'm saying?
Good point.
If a brother's doing something wild, then you go and you there, you pull him to the side. He may want to hear it, he may not want to hear it. You know what I mean? But remember, no matter if you feel like you separate yourself from the Pookie and Ray Ray, we all still getting looked at the same way. You know what I mean? So it don't matter if you say that's them weekend warriors. It doesn't matter in the big scheme of things. We all getting pegged together. You know what I'm saying? So
Gringos. Foreigners.
that's all.
As long
That's
as you're
right.
black and you got a blue book, man. That's it.
That's all I wanted to say. You know, like just brothers have fun. You know what I'm saying? And just try not to show your ass too much.
Good point, man. Classic bars, my man, in that result. I want to give a shout out to D South Crown 35 with the follow super chat. He says, while in Thailand, I was told by a few slim baddies that black dudes don't like them. So maybe in a way that stereotype exists and it blocks us a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
And you
never
got to
heard that
realize
song?
this.
That's
No, you
super
got to realize
skin.
this. keep this into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
America, and not just America, but let's say America has done a PR cheer campaign on black men and black people.
Mm-hmm.
So no
Mm-hmm.
matter where you go, we were shown in a light of being undesirable, untrustworthy, dangerous, and violent. So
Mm-hmm.
when we go to these places, the last man that they're probably looking for is black men, unless they're
Mm-hmm.
into the culture. Now, those who
Mm-hmm.
are influenced by the pop culture, hip hop culture, which is now popular culture, they might have interests in us. They look at us and see LeBron James and Jay-Z and 50 Cent and, oh, this guy got braids like this guy and this guy got dreads like this guy. I like this
Mm-hmm.
entertainer. So the people in those countries that are influenced by pop culture, they may look at us differently, but there's been years. But look, imagine most of those Thai girls and Filipino girls and white girls and Latin women, their parents told.
Oh, you bugged out a little bit, Zoe.
Yeah, sorry, somebody was calling me that we're not good and we're not desired. That's so
Mm-hmm.
it's not that we want to get the bottom of the barrel. You know what I'm saying? You got to realize you don't even have a shot in most cases unless you make a change their impression of you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's on a
Mm-hmm.
global scale.
Mm-hmm.
And we're American, so we could probably go to parts of Africa or parts of if you go to the Caribbean, we got a reputation of being lazy Americans, blacks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Lazy
this
Black Americans.
yeah, so there's a whole thing, just smear campaign that we ain't even got nothing to do with, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say my piece. I got somebody rolling up, and
Okay, so
yo,
we'll connect later
peace to
on, bro.
the panel. Yeah, peace to
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah,
panel. Peace to the brothers. Y'all stay good and have fun. I just wanted to add my 2 cents. All right,
All right, man.
all right.
Peace. Appreciate you
peace.
coming on, Zoe. We got a link, my man, in Medellin now.
One, no
I,
That's
doubt,
what's
I
up, man.
I agree with him on
no
that
doubt.
part. I agree with him. I agree with Zoe on that because I think too it comes down to the way we carry ourselves because
Mm-hmm.
they do look at the way we carry ourselves because when I was in Thailand earlier this year, I asked a lot of the women there why why are they single and why is there so many single ladies and
Mm-hmm.
what do they think about Americans coming? And a lot of them say nice things about us and things like that, and
It's
find
it's a mix. It's
yeah,
definitely a mix.
yeah, it's a mix, and a lot of them find something they find us attractive and things like that. But like he said, it's a smear campaign that was done many years before either of us was born about black
Mm-hmm.
men. So it's
But
important.
does that smear campaign really reach outside the West? Does it reach
Yes,
outside the states?
yes, it does. Yes,
Yeah.
it
Mm-hmm.
does. It does. Because remember, um, even I was watching this interview about the guy in China.
Mm-hmm.
He's a teacher in China, and he's suffering racism there. You know, in China.
That's China. That's China, though.
Yeah, and
If you're not Chinese, it's
yeah, yeah,
that's one of them cultures that's really like race loyal, race loyalties. So you could be
and just and
white
even
and still be affected to a certain degree. But I want to catch this comment by Andre from Love Crossing Borders, and I'm gonna let you respond, Charles. He says, y'all make being black men travelers sound like shit. I've never experienced this. I've only dated professional and successful women. What the hell? You want to respond to that, Charles, or
I
Yeah,
mean,
Joe?
like,
Well, Joe.
I guess I'm confused
Shout out to my
because
man Andre Love Across the Borders. He's out there in Paris. Shout out to you, man. We definitely got to connect when you get back to the Columbia. But go ahead.
yeah, back to him. I mean, great for him, bro. That's what we're talking about. That's what we saying. We don't want that to be, the primary reason why you traveling and you experience that. So, all kudos to you.
Mhm.
So I'm a little confused where he was getting at with that. I mean, I guess we're just having a dialogue conversation on what we
Mhm.
seeing and what can be approved. And same thing to like Zoe said, to each whatever any man is doing, that's on him. But
Mhm.
how are we perceived in the long run, and how can we move different, or how can we make sure that we fine tune what kind of caliber what we looking for? So I mean,
I
yeah.
mean, you do have women in these countries that really would like to date an American for whatever reason, whether it be because you want to go back to the States, whether because your income is higher than hers, you get American money, or she might actually, like Zoe mentioned, be interested in the culture. Like she just
Yeah.
might like, and that can work both ways. Because when I'm in Cambodia, it works in my favor because there's not that many Black Americans out there. I didn't think I met one. It was just Africans and other Asians, and for the first time ever, and please don't go to Cambodia when I say this, but they were arguing over your boy at the club. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not no Denzel Washington, no cat like that. I do my thing, but they wanted a Black American. So it kind of works in both situations. And then Cambodia has a unique situation where that's a darker skinned Asian. And that can be a good thing or positive. But it's just like, hey, we all damn it the same complexion. We brown. We like the blacks of Asia. Or you got some that really just only want to date white men so they can whiten their skin up too. So you have both flavors. But I will say that in general in Southeast Asia, it's an advantage to be Black than it is a disadvantage to a certain degree because there's so many women, right?
Yeah, being unique or exotic.
You're exotic.
Yeah.
Being the Black American, you at the top of being exotic because you come from a very popular culture with a high currency exchange rate. I want to give a shout out to Xantos Clutch with the $5 super chases. What happens if I don't like the hood culture, nor want to go overseas just to only be limited to women who like that? I guess Xantos is saying that
Right.
what if you don't want the hip hop chicks, basically?
You don't have to get the hit. You don't have to. I mean, I was when I was leaving Phuket, Thailand, and I was going back to Bangkok. I was looking at the flight attendants. I mean, the flight attendants to me are one of the sexiest women to me. I was looking at the flight attendants. You could talk to professional women. You just got to approach them. And a lot of times when I ask the ladies why they single is because they would always say, well, no one really approached us. The good looking ladies. They said no one approached them. And they would be open to going on dates, but nobody has approached them. And they everywhere. You don't have to go to the club to find a nice woman. You can go to the mall. I mean, there's malls, there's shops everywhere in Asia. You can find professional women. You just gotta make that approach. And I think too, some guys think just by them being American that they don't have to work for it.
Yeah,
But
that's
you
true.
have to work for it. You have to be able to approach a woman. They're not gonna just lay down and worship at your feet just because you have a blue book and you're from the US. Because remember, we're not the only people traveling in these countries. You got Europeans, you got Russians, you got everybody, Africans, you got everybody from every continent. But in order for you to make a move, you got to be able to at least introduce yourself. And it's so easy to start it. I mean, it's so easy to start a conversation. We have to remember they're not American, they're not westernized. So they're not looking at a simple conversation would be suffice in most cases. Just introduce.
Yeah, they're not clowning you at the first introduction or making you feel less than. Shit, most of the time they scared of you to even have the conversation, like you said. They're real shy about it. So
Yeah.
Okay.
it's really determined on who you pick. And remember, I was saying that it was like you can definitely go talk to other women outside of all those bars and all that other stuff and go find somebody who's not even on that type of level. A lot of those type of women will give you more of the culture, more dialogue, more cooking, more experience of what's going on in Thailand than just, that entertainment lifestyle. It's more peaceful that way sometimes too.
And you're not gonna find no. If you're looking for a woman on Walking Street or in the clubs, that's difficult, man. Man, but if you go looking at the malls, if you go to the little shops where they're selling clothes, things like that. If you go into that, let's say for instance, condo shopping. I was looking at condos while I was in Phuket, Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the real estate agents there, they were baddies, man. Just looking, that was the introduction to a conversation right there. Just looking for condos and them showing condos. It's easy to start a conversation with them, but again, when I asked them, they just said no one really approaches them.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm gonna get super chat real quick, and I'm gonna ask the panel a question. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. We at the almost at the hour mark. We got 205 in the room. Appreciate that, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. We got D South Crown 35 with the 5 super chat. He says we got to hold some accountability in this. Is it really the smear campaign, or are we giving ammunition to the stereotypes based off our choices? That's a good one. That's a deep one. Shout out to D South Crown throwing a monkey wrench.
Well,
It's a little bit of both, let's be honest.
yeah, and then too, perception is very important when you in other countries. I was always told by my mother and my father, make sure you carry yourself in a very distinct way. Because no matter what part of the world you are at, you are perceived to be something not good. So you want to be able to make sure you present yourself very well. That's meaning dressing yourself very well, grooming, the way you being polite, learning the customs, things like that. A lot of times we go. I've seen some guys go to the country, like when I was in Colombia. They'll go there and they got their chain on, they got a wife beat on or something like that. But when I was with the girl I was with at the time, she told me that they don't think that's very attractive when they dress like that. They look for if you got some nice jeans on, clean shirt, stuff like that. But the jewelry thing and the flashiness they don't look for.
Okay, so I want to answer the panel this, and I can start with you, Wojo. Out of all the ethnicities of men, who you think have the highest standards and who you think have the lowest standards? So, out of European guys, Asian guys, Latino guys, Black Americans, Africans, who you think have the highest, most strictest, Middle Eastern guys, the strictest standards for their women, and who has the lowest?
Man, I feel like that's a loaded question, man. I'm always gonna say as black men got the highest standards, but it goes back to saying, to each his own. I would say definitely the Caucasian folks, they would definitely try to shoot for the slims, the plastics and stuff. This is just my perception. I could be 100% wrong.
Yeah.
And then, I see the Koreans, they'll go for what their own kind. I definitely would say that. I would say for us black men, yes, we definitely open our minds up and expand a little bit more to, different amount of women and different sizes too. So like Zoe was saying, I got to give respect to everybody for making their own choices and what they like. But
okay, a political answer. Okay, Mr. Joe Biden, I got you. Now, Charles Magruder, who would you think has the highest and the lowest standards?
Okay, so the ones who has the highest standard, in my opinion, through my years of travel, I would have to say the Arabic guys.
I forgot about them.
Because the Arabic guys have a very, very strict, very, very strict and high standard. They would come in number one for me. Asian guys are number two. I would say Russian guys, their standards is not all that great. I would say the third race that would probably come into play with a better standards are I would have to say black guys. I would have to
Mm-hmm.
say black guys. I would have to say American black guys. For the simple,
Or hold on. Or yeah, you said low or kind of in the middle. Where would you
I think
put
you're
African
saying it
guys at
wrong.
then?
I would think black guys are a little lower. I wouldn't say they're the
Mm-hmm.
lowest, but that we are a little lower. We accept things a little bit more.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
We do because I've
Why,
seen.
why, 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 why do you think that? Why do you think that we are pretty much accepting low
I would
standards?
I would say Uncle D said it best. He said we are soft.
Mm-hmm.
He said that.
Mm, they get this. They get on in the chat. They say black men don't have no standards. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Mm.
Uncle D explained it this way. He said we are soft. He said it's not a bad thing, but we've been conditioned to be soft. We've
Mm-hmm.
been conditioned to accept a little bit, you know, don't have that much of a higher standard,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you raised by a single mother
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and are things like that. And I think it was some studies done on that. So
Mm-hmm.
if you raised by a single family household and your mom raising you more acceptable to not have that higher standard
Yeah,
versus somebody that has a two-parent household.
you're almost trained to put women on a pedestal, almost in a
Yes,
sense. Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yes,
Man,
yes.
I gotta welcome my man from Paris. I don't know what time it is in Paris, brother, but I'm
It
blowing across
is.
the borders, man.
It's 9:16
Oh
here in
damn.
Paris. 9:16
PM. PM.
p.m.
Okay.
So we're like 5 hours ahead of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
In the future.
I
Okay.
know, right? I'm
Okay.
still getting
So,
used to the time.
and before we get to the subject, man, how is it out there in Paris, man? Is it cool?
You know what?
Nice.
It's pretty good, man. One thing I could say, let's just start. Talk about the infrastructure. Infrastructure is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they say that people in Paris only shower twice a week, yeah,
Oh
Ooh.
wow.
they don't use deodorant like that. Yeah.
That's pretty
And
right.
so, but that's the funny part, man. Some of the most gorgeous sisters I've ever seen are in Paris. These sisters are whole nother level. And you can
Mm-hmm.
listen at this, you can tell that a lot of supermodels over the last couple generations have had some kids.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing you can tell is if you line up 10 sisters from Paris, I guarantee you at least 7 of them are just flawlessly gorgeous without even trying. And I never expected, I thought it was gonna be a couple, but like every time I saw it, just fine, 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 fine sisters. And so,
Mm-hmm.
but among whites in Paris, they kind of like you'll find some attractive ones here and there. If you lined up 10 of them, it might be maybe 4 that are really attractive.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
and they age like the white Parisians, they age fast. When they get old, they get like old because
Mm-hmm.
they smoke here a lot. Like here in Europe, you're gonna see a lot of cigarette smokers, so they age fast.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
as far as the infrastructure, as far as the food, as far as the people, it's kind of funny that Paris has the reputation of being the most unfriendly country in the world. Yet everybody that we met have been extremely friendly, extremely helpful, extremely supportive. There's a lot of English speakers here, so you don't have to feel like, man, I don't know any French. There's a huge population of English speakers here in Madrid, in Barcelona. We've been to those areas. We just left those areas. We're on our way to UK in 2 days. And so, but these areas that you thought weren't English speaking, they are now. English is the the second most used language in most of these countries in Europe now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. And what do you think about the topic we're talking about, the discussion?
You know what, man? I think the problem is that passport bros aren't causing much of these problems. Is mainly dudes that's trying to use passport bros as a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you were a whoremonger before passport bros, be who you were. If you were a traveler before passport bros, be who you were. If
Mm-hmm.
you were a dude that was a weekend warrior, be who you were. Don't all of a sudden now there's a moniker to scurry up under. You know, you got to be who you are. If you were a whoremonger before passport bros, be who you were. If you were a traveler before passport bros, be who you were. If you were a dude that was a weekend warrior, be who you were. Don't all of a sudden now there's a moniker to run scurry up under. You want to scurry up under the umbrella of the Passport Bros and do the same behavior patterns you were doing before. Passport Bros was a thing. In
Mhm.
2012, you were a whoremonger.
Mhm.
2017, you were a whoremonger. 2023, you were a whoremonger. But now you get a moniker to hide up under. 2012, you were just a traveler. 2012, you were just a expat, whatever it may be. But don't try to use them. That's what I don't like personally. If you wonder what my beef is with these dudes, they're trying to use as dudes like you and Richie Mack and other brothers try to present a positive light on the opportunities for black men and other men to travel around the world and take advantage of opportunities. You got these dudes that was whoremongering long before 2015, 16, and 17, when the Passport Bro titles that you guys put forth start coming forth. These dudes were whoremongers. These dudes were just travelers. These dudes were weekend warriors. Be who you are, but don't run up under us. They remind me of dudes in the feds. We used to have a saying in the feds: if you scared, go to church. If you scared to walk, you done got into a gambling debt, or you was messing with them boys, and now you find yourself in trouble with some dude who's messing with his boy. So a lot of dudes will come running up under the umbrella of the church dudes in prisons because they owe gambling debts, they owe drug debts. But if I hang out with the church brothers or the Muslim brothers, don't nobody mess with the Muslim brothers and the church brothers. Same thing that I'm seeing, that same thing with these dudes that are whoremongers. Carry your title, whoremonger. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You did it before, Passport Bros. Don't try to have these negative incidences happen to you, which were happening before Passport Bro movement. And now Passport Bros are being blamed for things that we ain't even doing out there. Just
Mhm.
because they done bought them a BMT t-shirt, they think that they can go out there and act a damn fool in the name of Passport Bros. And you and I and other brothers are busting our butts to showcase in a positive light the opportunities, once again, that are available for so many of us to take advantage of. That's a
Mhm.
true Passport Bro. A man that's trying to set up a blueprint for the future of his life and his family. He's looking for a new country. He's looking for a new culture. He's looking for a new cost of living. That's what he's looking for. And even if he finds a woman or find women, cool. But true Passport Bro, the women are not his number one thing.
Mhm.
And most of us Passport Bros are not weekend warriors.
Mhm.
And
All
that's
right.
the part that I'm saying, like,
I want to give this comment by Riviera Group, and I guess this is a response to you, Charles. He says, "When is the last time you saw a Latino guy hanging on to a 300-pound Pinky or Keisha with burgundy hair extensions?"
Damn.
All right. So before you came on the show, we were talking about standards, and we asked
I saw
from
that.
high to low, who has the highest standards, who had the lowest standards. Now, Joe gave us a political Washington D.C. question
Hey man, I
answer.
gotta look out for the brothers.
I got you. Charles said that black men's standards is pretty low. What do you think about that? Are our
I
standards pretty
think,
low in
I
comparison
think
to other ethnicities of men?
absolutely, absolutely. I think Black American man's standards are very low. I
Mm-hmm.
see black men in other countries, and they make sure that they try to get with the quality woman.
Mm.
She might be a quality woman from his tribe, from his town, from his city. He tries to at least get with the quality woman. He ain't gonna let her get away with a lot of stuff. We as Americans, I heard the other brothers say, man, we just let too much slide.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gotta be in shape. It's all right, baby. You fine. You thick. We don't call it fat. That heifer fat. She thick. But don't no other culture use that term thick but us to get away with our women being obese. And we take that
Mm-hmm.
same behavior around the world. Oh, let me get that thick one over there. That unhealthy one. The one that's gonna feed me slave survival food. Let me get that one right there.
Mm-hmm.
We do the same thing around the world. Instead of getting with quality women in other places, like the one brother was saying, airline stewardesses or women that have different careers in these other countries, our standards are so low. And just like the one brother was saying, because of how we were raised in many cases, without dads that had standards or uncles that had higher standards, or dudes in our communities had higher standards, since they didn't have any higher standards, we go to other countries not realizing how low our standards are as black men. So we let a lot of stuff slide, a lot of stuff slide. And so, and so then there's a few of us that said, no, no, I only dealt with successful women in the States. And I'll be damned if I come to another country and I deal with broke Becky with a beautiful bottom feeder. If I was dealing with top-notch chicks, my ex, when I left this, think about it. When I left the States, my ex was was one of the VPs for Frontier Communication. She was flying around the world. That's how I got to the Philippines, Cebu. She flew me there. That's how I got to the Grand Canyon. She said, "What you doing this weekend?" Nothing. She said, "I'm flying you out." Do you really think I'm supposed to come to Colombia or any other country and not look and not expect the best thereof? But you got too many brothers. Let's be real, guys. Before I shut up, we went dealing with quality sisters in the States. And so I don't expect a brother to get a passport. No offense to you brothers that like hood chicks and bottom feeders and chicks that's regular everyday chicks. Ain't nothing wrong with a regular chick. But if you a dude that only dealt with regular chicks in the States or bottom feeders or Aisha, Keisha, Ratchet and all that in the States, that's all you gonna attract. That's all the universe gonna give you no matter what country you go to. You think you're going to get better, but I promise you, you're going to find yourself in a favela or in a barrio long before you find yourself at a fundraiser with a chick in Venezuela or chick in Brazil. And she owns 3 businesses. You ain't never dealt with that in the States. So how the hell you going to pretend like you going to find or come up on that? If you ain't dated a college professor in the States, you never dated a sister that had 2 or 3 businesses or 2 or 3 pieces of real estate in the States, you are not going to pick up those quality women because you don't know how to walk in that circle. No offense, but if you don't walk in that circle, you ain't going to have that circle. And that's why dudes, full circle, that's why many of us brothers have such low standards when it comes to women in other countries, because that's all we know are the low standard women, even though they look good.
I want to catch the super chat real quick by DIA Dreams and Action with $10 super chat, man. I really appreciate that. It says, Andre, BMT, I appreciate your content after 33 and a half years of serving in the military. Shout out to you for that. I love traveling to different countries. I definitely want to transition to the Passport Bro movement and live overseas. Salute to you,
That's
DIA.
the Passport Bro. That right there is the Passport Bro movement. Is you put in your mind saying, I'm going to make the move. It might be 5 months, it might be 5 years, it might be 15 years, but I'm going to make the final move. That's the first step of a Passport Bro. Second step of a Passport Bro, where am I going to move? Third step is, how am I going to take care of myself to enjoy the cost of living in my new country? That's the third step of a Passport Bro. Now the fourth step is, do I want to bring a lady or ladies into my life? But the first steps are the process of becoming a Passport Bro, of relocating to another country. And when is it going to be your time to relocate? You might have a son that's 10 years old. And you say, I got 8 more years before he goes off to college. So I got 8 years to travel to different countries and see which country is the best country for me. Oh, I found one. Now let me see what city is the best city in that country for me. Oh, I found that. In that 8 years while your son is getting ready to go to college. That's a Passport Bro mode. So everything that he's doing, that's a Passport Bro. But these dudes that want to claim Passport Bro, only going to places for the ladies, you ain't no Passport Bro. You just a regular dude on a vacation enjoying your holiday. That's all. You got 2 weeks off for work. You taking advantage of it in DR. Nothing wrong with that. But don't claim you're a Passport Bro, because you really ain't got no plans on leaving the state. You just like all 68% of you American citizens that will not even leave their own city. So let's be.
And then too, I would like to say also that a lot of time with help with the media, because I mean, Passport Bros have been making it on Fox News here in the States, Channel 13 News. I mean, they've been making a lot of news stations out here in the States. I don't know if you know, but a lot of negative connotations has been attached to the Passport Bros. But what they don't do is they never take the time to actually talk to a Passport Bro.
Mm.
They get it third person, fifth person. They get it off of people who haven't traveled outside of the country or don't even know what it is. I just find it amazing that but the Passport Joe's been traveling long before black men been traveling, and it has never been an issue. Black men been. I think it was since 1954. Black men been traveling through the army, bringing wives back. There's an article about it. And I think people just attaching, when it comes to black men, they're attaching negative connotations to it. They never talk to us to see, well, why is Passport Bros going to other countries? Number one, we look for countries that are financially conducive, that our money can go a lot further, such as a Thailand, such as a Philippines, such as a Colombia, DR, and so on and so forth. And I think they try to attach all kind of negative connotations to it to belittle us for making a change to relocate to a different country. I remember when I first traveled to Hong Kong, and my coworkers knew where I was going, and it was all kind of negative stuff about Hong Kong. When I got there, it was nothing like it was told to me it will be. Nothing like it.
Mm-hmm.
Completely different.
Now, I want to ask the panel this: when do black men hold themselves accountable collectively for having so low standards? Is at any point? I know we have all these panels. I know you see all these podcasts and all these shows going back and forth, engaging with women. But when do black men hold themselves accountable and say, "Hey, man, maybe we dropped the ball somewhere, and this is the reason our women are acting the way they're acting. This is the reason why men have to go overseas, is because something that we did or did not do." Whoever wants to attack that, you can go ahead.
It goes. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I say go. That's something that Dr. Umar was trying to put on black men. He was trying to say, it's our fault that they got these single baby mamas. It's our fault that the women are the way they are, which is, it's an outright lie. 54% of black men are single and childless. 33% of black men are married. So it can't be us, okay? I think it's 60% of women they find end up sleeping with the same guy.
Yeah.
So how could it be then us as black men, as it our fault that there's single baby mamas?
Knowing that he got 3 baby mamas and still doing it.
Yeah, and remember, I'll be honest with you. I was the type of guy with a personality that was considered a friend. I was always put in the friend zone. Okay? I was always put in the friend zone. But the guy that was the player, that was the Casanova.
You mean the Joes of the world, the Rojos of the world?
Yeah. I was considered a nerd. I was all, because I took care of myself. I always was into my appearance and stuff like that. How can I be responsible for what they choose to do? They used to, back in my school, they looked like weed. The guy that smelled like weed.
Charles, we're talking about a collective now. You're talking about individually. We're talking about as a collective. Because other races of men think as a collective. Like when you say the Middle Eastern man, they've set the standard as a collective. What standard have we set as a collective? We can't even stop our women from buying fake hair that's like a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Well, remember, we were told to, we're not able to express ourselves either. We wasn't able to express ourselves. This really is these panels are really the first time black men are able to really communicate and express ourselves and share our thoughts without being demonized. Remember, we were always demonized from Oprah Winfrey saying
Yeah.
that black men are deadbeats and things like that from our own women, demonizing us and
To the
stuff.
Tyler Perry's, all of
Yeah,
that stuff, man. All of that.
we was always called that we bad fathers to kids when in actuality the numbers say that black men are the most out of every race of man, that black men are the most involved fathers with their kids.
Hmm.
But those stereotypes that was put on us, we're still battling to this day. And a lot of times those stereotypes came from our own women.
Hmm. Hmm. Let me get your super chats real quick. I want to give a shout out to Daryl with the 5 super chat, my man from Kazakhstan. He said, I would definitely raise this way. I can't believe I let these pigeons stress me out. My wife brought her own money when we bought our place. Give a shout out to Daryl with the 5 super chat. I also have another one by DJ B Fit with the 5 super chat. I really appreciate that. He says, leaving the UK, Amsterdam, and Cyprus next week, and I heard that it will be required to have $10,000 in your account to get a visa to travel to Europe. I haven't heard about that.
I
But
heard they
shout
was
out to
changing
you,
something.
DJ B Fit. Shout out to you, man. I'll look that information up after the show. We got Beach Material in our super chat. Hannah, where's the best place to expat outside of Thailand?
Chiang
Anybody
Mai.
want to take that question?
Chiang Mai.
That's in Thailand, though.
Oh, he said outside
He
of
said
China.
Yeah,
outside of, yeah.
outside
Oh,
Thailand, yeah.
okay. Well, that's
Colombia and
Panama.
Brazil,
Yeah,
Colombia,
Panama,
Brazil,
Or the
Costa Rica,
Philippines.
Philippines.
Philippines, Vietnam.
Yeah.
Japan, but Japan is a little expensive.
Yeah, Japan rough.
All right, I'm gonna
Japan,
look
if you
them
can get one of those free houses.
Yeah, there's a process you got to go through. Yeah.
Is it Felipe or Felipe, bro? Is it
It's
how you pronounce
actually
the name?
Philippe, but I answer to all of it.
Okay,
So I'm not. It's cool. I did. Greetings, panel. I did not plan to come up today. I'm in the middle of something, but first off, I wanted to say to Andre, since he's in Paris, I put in the chat there. There's a jazz club, a jam session place called Sunset Sunrise, and it's like you know the place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. I don't need to tell you guys. If you don't know about this, is a hidden gem. A lot of recording artists go to this place. I stumbled in there, and it's like where Miles Davis and people like that in the 50s would go and try to work out new material, for their music. Definitely worth your time if you're ever in Paris. So you already know, and I'm not surprised, Andre. You always do your research. So, what I wanted to mention was we started to get on this thing about the Fox News and all this stuff. It is really, really important, and to the theme of this show, that people understand our situation economically, right? And that going to these countries and seeing what the opportunities are, on Andre's show, he's gone over in fine point detail about what the opportunities are in Colombia, because of the financial situation that many Black people find themselves in the United States. And specifically what I'm talking about is retirement. And it is therefore critical that we don't give material to the media outlets to make it more difficult for people to leave. One of the things that I saw that was really troubling was that they started raising the fees, particularly for people that were going to give up their passport, that they were going to, accept their citizenship in a different country. And
I heard about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it went from like 200 to 2,000 or something like that.
Correct. And that's because at the high end, people are renouncing because of the tax situation. Now, what does that have to do with the average Black traveler? Well, bottom line is that you've got to look at how are you going to afford your retirement, right? And I will just throw the number out there, particularly if you're married. I'm a married man, that you're looking at per person $1.5 million with no health issues. If it's two of you guys minimum, you're looking at 3 million. Now, how does that number come up? It comes up with what is your house going to be, what's your cost of living, what's your food, what's your, you know, and if you've got health problems, man, it's a real issue. So to this point, then the traveling becomes critical, because now you've got to look at what is the best opportunity to maximize my dollars. I can't make it up in earnings, so I have to make it up in currency flip. And if you've got a steady drumbeat of these group of people are leaving the country, and here's what they're doing, and then they roll the video, right? Throwing up the cash, and you know, I've seen some terrible stuff. You know, the guys arguing with young women, that it will lock us in. You know, not by our choice, but by the projection that we're making. So it's critical that a standard is held to say, look, I got to research where I'm going. I need to learn the language where I'm going. And I need to talk to people like the people on this panel to find out what's going on the ground, to pay for the consults and things like that, so I don't get clowned. So I came up particularly for that, to just say, look, this is serious business on a certain level. We all want everybody to have fun and to enjoy these wonderful opportunities afforded us, which is really kind of, you know, a beautiful thing if you think what the situation was for, say, our grandparents, right? That we can do things that my grandparents only dreamed of, right? And so if you think of it in that, and listen, and I will just share this just to kind of give a point of reference for myself. Believe it or not, my grandfather actually grew up on a reservation in the United States. He was in dire poverty. And his big dream was to be able to go to a big city. He wound up in Chicago, and to work, because he came from the bottom. Now we're talking about going to this country and that country and this kind of thing. It's incredible. So there's a certain amount of respect that we need to travel with, because we're carrying the dreams of our ancestors to be able to do these things. You know, if I said to him, hey, you know, I went to this country, I went to school in that country, and I did this, that, and the other, he'd be like, wow. And so that's kind of the reverence that I think we want to promote. And thank you, Aaron, for bringing it up. Thank you, panel, Joe. Thank you, Mr. Magruder, and Andre, for reinforcing this, because literally we have an honor that we need to travel with, to say, look, this is about starting businesses abroad. This is about getting supply chains to the people that cannot travel. That's another thing. Listen, let me just throw this last thing. I know I'm downloading a lot of information, but there are all these cities across the country where I'm seeing Black Americans complain about, here come the immigrants that are coming in through the various waves, and now we aren't getting services. And for decades, Claude Anderson went around this country and said, we need supply chains, we need circular income. And the roots of that is this Passportbros of, hey, I got to connect to get this kind of food into the country. I got to connect to get this kind of beverage into the country. You know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because if we're looking to, quote unquote, government to save us, look, as it stands right now, they can cut off the food to a lot of these communities. And, you know, being at the stores, which are closing up en masse from these young people that are taking articles out of the stores. So they isolate your community. You don't have stores, you don't have food, then what? So it's really critical that you don't turn off the connects, which is the young men on this panel, to help you get stuff up in there, right? Because we all came from there, right? So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm sorry I gave you a lot to the panel, and I'll be quiet and let you guys respond.
Very good point. Very good point, brother. I got DIA Dreams to ask you on super chat. He says, Andre, facts. I appreciate the advice. I wrote it down. In state planning with a contingency plan, 3 to 5 years. A, military retirement. B, as an officer. And okay, B, work as digital clinical therapist once licensed. Shout out to the panel. Appreciate that, DIA. Very good point. Very good point. Yeah, we'll find that. All right. Good point. Good point. Now, so the thing is with brothers, traveling overseas, and I was trying to, play devil's advocate a little bit as far as like saying, do we hold any bit accountability at all in concerns of why we have to travel overseas to find a traditional mate, right? Because that's the common criticism about the quote unquote passport bros is we can't get women in the States, so we go overseas to get traditional women that we say, we can't find in America. Do we hold any accountability whatsoever? Dre, you want to answer that? Oh, hold on. I think you're on mute. Hold on. Let me get you off mute.
Not one bit of accountability. I don't want any of you guys in the chat and the panel or guys that listen to this after feel that you still owe. You can't. One of the things that we said when I got out the feds, and I'm telling a lot of Fed stories, we had a saying that if you look back, you go back. So when they put you in that truck, in that van, and you did your bit, and they take you to the airport to drop you off so you can fly home. We used to say, if you look in that rearview mirror, you going back to prison. So dudes would purposely not look in that rearview mirror until we kind of knew that prison was not behind us anymore. You know why? I don't owe that prison. I did my bit already. I don't owe nothing else to that prison. Now it's time for me to live my life. Just like there's a lot of brothers and sisters here in Paris, but I don't owe these people, brothers and sisters in Paris. Why? I don't live in Paris. Just like I no longer live in that prison, and I no longer live in the United States. For all passport bros that think, other than carrying yourself in a respectful way, I'm going to say that again, other than carrying yourself as an example of a man of standards in other countries as an American, you don't owe the black, the white, or anybody else in America anything else except for being a good example. You can't live in Thailand and carry picket signs for what's going on in the States, can you? No. You don't owe nobody from now on. You live the life that you have because you are one of the rare blacks that are taking advantage of a passport and doing something with your lives. So never feel like you owe anybody. And I like what this brother said when he was saying, when I was in the States, women looked at me like in the friend zone. Well, brother, I tell brothers like you and I tell other brothers, it's because you weren't made for the States. You were born in the States, but you weren't made for the States. Just like Abraham in the Bible was born in one location, but God sent him to the promised land. Jesus was born in one location, but he was sent to another location. He was made for another location. So just because we're born in the United States does not mean that the few of us who actually take advantage of travel were made for the States. I'm here in Paris. Now I'm understanding why Miles Davis came here. Why some of the most famous black performers and artists came here. They were born in the States, but they were not made for just the States. We don't owe the United States nothing. Whatever issues they're going through, you can't help them. Let the brothers and the sisters that still stand in the States, let them carry those picket signs. But as for us, I can't help whatever happened to the next Trayvon Martin. I don't live in the States. I can't tell you what's going on and help you when it comes to what's going on with racism in the States. I don't live in the States, and many of you don't plan on living in the States. So don't sit back and act like we owe sisters anything. We owe them love, prayer, and being a good example of brothers and sisters around the world. But we can't do nothing else. We can't go to city council meetings, can we? We can't have no more bullhorns, can we? So since we can't do all those things, we don't owe anybody. Anybody that try to make you feel guilty as a black man for not looking in the prison mirror and looking back at the prison, trying to help the prison or the plantation, you doing yourself a disservice because you can't look ahead and look backwards at the same time. And so that's what I have to say about us brothers who are passport bros on anything to anybody in the United States. You don't live there full time anymore. Like I say, make the United States your second home. United States is not a country, it's a corporation. And then the corporation make your money and go find you a country. Go find you a country. Treat the United States for what it is. It says it's a corporation, so treat it like it's a corporation. Get your money, get your education, get your degree, take your time, build your goals, and then go find what you consider your country.
Man, good point. Yeah, great point. Well, guys, it's been a classic show. I want to leave on that note because Andre just dropped some bars. All right, guys. So I appreciate you guys joining us. We out. Peace.